Metro 2033, released in 2010 by 4A Games, a studio founded in Kiev by former developers of the Stalker series. The game is based on the novel of the same name written by Dmitry Glukhovsky, who also served as the main writer on the game itself. The story goes that Glukhovsky originally wrote Metro 2033 chapter by chapter, posting it online for free, and it blew up. It was published, sold millions of copies, and eventually became the foundation for one of the most atmospheric shooter series ever made, and it's one of my personal favorites. The game drops you into post-apocalyptic Moscow in 2033. Nuclear war has made the surface uninhabitable, and what's left of humanity survives deep underground in the metro. So let's talk about it. As I already said, the game is set in 2033, 20 years after the nuclear attack on Moscow. When the attack happened, people ran to Metro to survive. Some got in, but the majority didn't, with only about 50,000 survivors. Everything on the surface was destroyed, buildings destroyed, ground split and torn open. If any animals survived, they mutated beyond recognition. The reason why this attack was so devastating is because they didn't use normal nuclear bombs. They used thermonuclear bombs alongside specialized radiological weapons designed to maximize long-term fallout. People started building little countries inside metro stations, their own laws, their own ideologies, their own economies. But one thing they all share is a common currency: military-grade rounds. After the war, pre-war ammunition became incredibly sought after. That level of quality simply couldn't be replicated underground. This is the world Artyom lives in. Artyom is a young man who grew up in the metro. He was just a child when the bombs fell, so the surface world exists only as stories for him. Exhibition is the only home he's ever known. You start the game at the exhibition, one of the safer, more stable stations in the metro. But one day when an elite soldier called the Hunter comes to the exhibition and warns the station about the Dark Ones. We don't know yet who they are and how to counter their attacks. But after a wave of mutants attack the station, we get notified that the Dark Ones destroyed one of the outposts. The Hunter senses something is wrong and tells Artyom that he doesn't return the next day to go to police and find a man called Miller to tell him what is happening. Honoring the promise Artyom gave, we go on a journey to police. But almost immediately something strange starts happening. When you leave exhibition on the cart, an anomaly hits and everyone passes out. And in that moment you hallucinate Hunter telling you that the Dark Ones must be eliminated. At that point you take it as a mission, a clear enemy and a clear goal. But you don't go alone for long. To get through the locked down tunnels, Artyom links up with Bourbon, a cynical street-smart smuggler who knows the metro better than most. He hires Artyom as a bodyguard in exchange for his AK if he helps him get to the dry station. Later on, you are in a room full of bodies with Bourbon trying to open a door while you loot around. Then it starts again. You are at the end of a long tunnel, Bourbon is at the other end and you are trying to reach him. You keep snapping in and out of the hallucination, and when you finally reach the door, a Dark One grabs you and pulls you in. You and Bourbon snap back and you both know that you were just attacked by the Dark Ones. But Bourbon's luck eventually runs out. He gets captured and killed by bandits, and just like that, your guide through the metro is gone. It's sad to see him go out like that. He was so close to surviving, but he just had too slow for reflexes. But right when things look worse, Artyom is saved by Khan. Khan is one of the most interesting characters in the game. While everyone else in the metro is focused on survival, territory and ideology, Khan is something else entirely. He's a traveler, a philosopher, someone who has spent years moving through the metro and actually paying attention to it. He teaches Artyom that the tunnels aren't just concrete and steel, they're haunted. He takes you to the section where you see ghosts, shadows of people burned into the walls, replaying their last moments on loop. He teaches you to stand completely still when a strange crackling anomalies drift past you in the dark. And most importantly, Khan is the first person in the entire game who doesn't see the Dark Ones as just monsters to be killed. He calls them Homo Novus, the new man. A species born from a radiation, something that was never supposed to exist. He warns Artyom that humanity's first instinct is always to destroy what it doesn't understand. Artyom listens, but at that point in the game you are still not sure what to believe. While on our journey we get to see just how much this world is destroyed. There is almost not a single street that is in good shape or close to it. You can see abandoned cars in the streets, frozen in the same traffic jam for 20 years and many more to come. When you go into the apartments it feels like someone was just there not too long ago. You can see just how much work went into this game. Every part of the map sells that illusion that somebody really once lived here. And going to the surface is a constant race against time. You need a gas mask just to breathe up there, and your filters are always running out. You have a wristwatch that shows you how much time you have left, and when it starts ticking low you better hope you find a new filter nearby or you are done. If you take damage your mask can crack and now you are scrambling through a destroyed building trying to find a replacement while something is trying to kill you. Every surface section has this low level panic underneath it that never really goes away. Inhabited stations feel alive with music, people selling all kinds of stuff, bars, jails and cramped apartment blocks. Usually these apartments are no bigger than a wardrobe. While on your journey you go through many different stations filled with all kinds of people. If you listen to some of their conversations you can find out that some people don't know the most basic things, like kids not knowing what house looks like or even how the sky looks like. You can also hear sad conversations, a father trying to hide from his son that his mother died.
I know. How about a house where you'd like to live with your mom and dad? Oh, come on.
A house? A big one?
And when your mom comes back, we'll show it to her and she'll be happy. That's going to be a great surprise for her son.
Okay, I'll draw that. Daddy, when is Mom going to come back?
Soon. I wish she could see how much you've grown.
And if you pay attention you'll notice some of the same voices appearing across completely different characters, a side effect of a small budget. But honestly it rarely breaks the immersion, it's just one of those things that makes the game feel handmade. While you are moving through all of this you start to notice the Metro's politics. Two pre-war ideologies somehow survive the apocalypse, Nazism and communism. I mean these two always have to survive. The Fourth Reich controls several stations, enforcing racial purity underground in a destroyed world where everyone is equally desperate. And on the other side is the Red Line, a paranoid totalitarian police state where whispering the wrong political opinion gets you executed as a traitor. What makes this conflict so twisted in the game is the sheer absurdity of it. You have two fanatical, heavily armed factions mid-grinding the remaining population over 20th century political ideas, entirely blind to the fact that humanity is already on the brink of extinction. Traveling between communist and Nazi-controlled stations, you are going to find yourself in a lot of firefights, and the guns in this game deserve their own moment. Metro 2033 doesn't give you clean, pristine military weapons. Everything you carry feels like it was scavenged from collapsed building or copped together in a Metro workshop. Pre-war weapons are very rare. In Metro you have your conventional firearms, shotguns, assault rifles, revolvers, but you also have pneumatic weapons, guns powered by compressed air that you manually pump yourself. They are quieter, which makes them useful for stealth, but you are constantly managing pressure or your shots lose power. All guns feel satisfying to use, I especially like the stealth weapons. There is something really satisfying about landing a clean shot from a distance and nobody even reacts. But something I must say is that mutants sometimes feel like bullet sponges. Unless you hit them in the head, you are most likely going to need to mech dump them. It really becomes annoying after some time, especially with how fast the mutants move and hit, you can easily get overwhelmed. And how you play matters beyond just surviving. Metro 2033 has a morality system running in the background. It doesn't show you good or evil meter, it just watches. How you treat enemies, whether you listen to conversations, whether you show mercy, it quietly tracks all of it and it affects which ending you get. Most people miss this on their first playthrough and probably on the others. After everything Artyom goes through, the firefights, the factions, the surface, he finally reaches Polis. And when you arrive coming in on the cart and you see that massive police sign above the tracks, you feel it. This place is different. It's huge compared to everything you've been through. Police feels like the closest thing to a real city the metro has. And inside is Miller and the Spartan Rangers, the most organized, most capable fighting force in the metro. No ideology, no station politics, just a singular goal: to protect what's left of humanity from threats too large for anyone else to handle. Miller listens to what Artyom has to say about the Dark Ones and takes it seriously, and for the first time in the game someone actually has a plan. But the Council of Police refuses to help. Miller doesn't wait around and is ashamed of what Council has decided. He reveals the existence of D6, a secret pre-war military bunker with missile system capable of wiping out the Dark Ones entirely. The only problem is the maps to find it are lost on the surface, inside the ruins of the state library. So Miller, Artyom and one other soldier go to retrieve them, but the soldier gets badly injured and Miller has to take him back to police. So now we are left all alone in the worst place possible: the library. The library is one of the most tense moments in the entire game. It's haunted by librarians, massive mutated creatures intelligent in a way that makes them far more terrifying than anything else you fought. And the game takes away everything you've been relying on. You can't run, you can't shoot. If a librarian gets in your face, the only thing you can do is look it directly in the eyes, hold your ground, and he will eventually just shrug and go away. If you panic, turn around or make a wrong move, it will tear you apart instantly. When it was my first time going through this part, I just ran as fast as I could and somehow got out. I hate this part just because it's so stressful. After somehow surviving the library and getting the maps, you think the worst is over. It's not. But at least where you are headed next is my favorite part of the game, D6. But the path to there isn't really my favorite part, with constant waves of bullet sponge mutants, but at least now you have a flamethrower to deal with them. It's also here that I realized if you try to go ahead of your group, the game will force you to go back by spawning 10 mutants on you. Then we finally get to D6. I don't know what it is about this place, but it feels so nice. The atmosphere is amazing with the fog and the industrial lights. It feels like a proper apocalyptic place. I mean, just look at it, take it all in. While we are here, we have to navigate this massive decaying facility to power up the missile command center. Mechanically it's a bit of slog. You are fighting off these strange explosive amoeba organisms that spawn infinitely unless you destroy their pods. It's not the most thrilling gameplay, but the sheer scale of D6 keeps you hooked. It represents the pinnacle of pre-war human engineering, a multi-layered tomb left behind by the society that destroyed the world, now being booted back up to do it again. Once the systems are online, the final act kicks off. The plan is simple: take the laser targeting system to the top of the Ostankino Tower, the telestructure in Moscow, and rain hellfire down on the Dark One's home at the Botanical Gardens. The ascent up the tower is a massive tonal shift. You leave the safety of tunnels behind and climb high above the ruined city. As Artyom climbs higher, the Dark Ones launch a final, overwhelming psychic assault on his mind. You are thrown into a surreal, shifting dreamscape. You are running through twisted corridors, dodging malevolent shadows. At the very end of this mental maze, a Dark One approaches you, and you finally realize what has actually been happening the entire time. The hallucinations weren't attacks, they were attempts to communicate, because the Dark Ones are creatures that were made by radiation. Their minds operate on a completely different psychic wavelength. Whenever they try to talk to regular humans, they inadvertently drove them insane or caused their brains to bleed. Artyom was the only one strong enough to survive the connection. They weren't trying to destroy humanity, they were desperately trying to save it. They wanted an alliance. Artyom snaps out of the vision, the targeting laser locks on, the missiles launch and obliterate the Dark Ones completely. The metro is saved, Artyom is a hero and he knows exactly what he just did. This is where that morality system I mentioned earlier pays off, because if you play this game the way most people play shooters, rushing through, ignoring NPCs, putting bullets in surrendering enemies, this is the only ending you'll ever see. The game tricks you into following Hunter's mission without ever questioning it, and then makes you sit with what that mission actually cost. We proved Khan right. Humanity's first instinct is always to destroy what it doesn't understand. There is another ending, but I'll let you find it out yourself.